Drawing from a picture is easier than drawing from life in general because you can see from a flat space the height and the width a lot easier in a picture that is printed. So we're drawing from a printed image and we're measuring, we're using the height and the width method. We're also taking consideration into what the depth is. I'm using the depth line to help me find the horizon line as well, just to place where the angle of the box or the egg or whatever I'm looking at, where it is in space. Now, when you're looking at it through the picture, it's a lot easier to see. With a ruler, you can see what is horizontal, what is vertical, and what is diagonal. I always look for the diagonals because the diagonals can help me position it in the picture a lot easier. Here you can see I'm using the metal part of my pencil to measure the egg. It's not a perfect job. The whole point of this project is just to shade. So as long as you can capture your height and your width in your hand size at least, you'll be okay. All I'm looking to see is how you use your pencils. Use your H pencils first. Go lightly and draw everything that you see in the position you think you are seeing it in, and then slowly get darker with the HB and the B pencils, and then however far your letter pencils go. I think mine's went up to B6, so definitely pay attention to your little value scale. In my case, I have it on the left of the printed picture. You can see that I use the back of the pencil metal part. I'm holding it to make the lightest part of that value scale, and then I put pressure on the right side with the front half of the pencil, and I make that darker. I'm using tissue to lighten and lift up some of the graphite that I put on the egg and the shadow area. Now, the lightest part is always going to be the highlight, and where the light source is always going to be whiter. As the object turns away, it's going to get into a mid-tone, and then it's going to get even darker, which is the shade. Anything that is on the table is going to have a cast shadow, which is the opposite side of where the light source is. So that's the lower part where the box meets the egg on the left side. So that I would use my H pencil first, and then slowly darken it around the lower half of the left side of the egg. You can see I'm using my fingers to measure. I'm using the pencil as well. Those are my favorite techniques on how to get the position. You see I'm turning the pencils diagonally so I can try to match what I'm seeing in my picture. And these are just the techniques that you've used already throughout the class that we are now using on specific simple shapes, whether it be an oval or a box. Again, drawing the box lightly and then going over it with the ruler to get the straight lines or diagonal. It makes it look a lot cleaner. If you do not have a ruler when you are working on this, that is fine. Again, the whole point is to work with your pencil and your value scale. Always draw the value scale first. You can do it at the bottom half, usually where I tell you to put the name, date, and theme. Make a value scale below. We started one in class for the Goku character. In my next video, I'm going to be drawing the Goku character and doing the value scale as well. You might have noticed that I'm turning pencil horizontal, which is from left to right, so that I can capture with the metal part of the pencil the width. Just to make sure that it looks like it actually is on something, I decided to do the checkerboard at the end. So sometimes when you're drawing, you don't fully want to draw everything, and then you decide you want to put things in, and that's okay. You can use your creativity to add or take away from your drawing. I thought the checkerboard was needed so I can show that it actually is sitting on a surface. So you see me now starting to draw the boxes. They're not going to be as accurate as they would have if I thought about doing it from the beginning, and that's okay. I'm lightly drawing it in, and then I darken it to the best of my abilities and within the time frame that I was working with. If you have your viewfinder on you, you can use that to help you see how to position this on a page. If you do not, you can use your ruler, you can use a quarter, you could use whatever you want to measure to help you place these boxes and eggs and shapes in the right place. Drawing is usually about being patient and taking your time and measuring first. There is a wood cutting technique that says measure twice and cut once. And in drawing, you want to measure first and then shade and do everything else later on. You don't want to start shading first. You want to start placing the drawing in a composition that you think is good. In this case, I'm just trying to stick closely to where the position of the box fits in my picture that is printed, and then match it in my 5-inch by 5-inch type art box on the right that you see me drawing on now. Again, since I'm about to draw something new, I'm measuring. You see I'm using the pencil horizontal, vertical, diagonal. I'm trying to see how tall the height is compared to the width, and you can see for the top box with the triangle that the height is shorter than the width. So I'm almost done with drawing my little map of where the objects seem to be fitted at on the page, and then I'm gonna start using my pencil to start shading. It's best to have something drawn first before you start shading, so this is why I'm taking my time to try to draw the box 3D and the triangle 3D before I add my lights, medium, and darks. The simplest is light, medium, and dark, but your value scale can be how many levels of the pencils you have. I think you have about 6 pencils, so you always want to hold the pressure light to see how the H pencil works compared to the B. So you'll hold the middle part and you'll lightly make some up and down strokes, so this way that you can get the lightest pressure. And then again, hold the pencil close to the tip where the graphite is, and you can put a lot of pressure and you'll see that it starts getting darker. Always start with the HB or H and then move towards the B's. I'm going to bring tracing paper, a light box. In this case, what I just want you to pay attention to the most is the value scale. So even if you feel like you're not matching your printed image easily, you're going to be able to see with the tracing paper how to place the items anyway. Sorry, the video got cut off, but that was all 3 in 1. I did put the 3 images in the cover section. Now in this case, I wanted to find where the horizon line is, or the vanishing point. Sometimes I forget that each object has a different vanishing point while it's on the horizon line. So you will see the triangle should have its own vanishing point, and so does the box. And the hexagon has its own vanishing point, and so does that box. Even the checkerboard has its own vanishing point on the horizon line. I always try to simplify it and make it seem like it's coming from the same source or vanishing point. But again, if it's 3 objects, they're going to have their own vanishing point. There's only one horizon line in any image you're doing that is a still printed image. If you're using a viewfinder, there's always going to be one horizon line. And in the end of the video, I'm actually going to show a building, and we're not doing perspective yet, but I'm still trying to get it in your brain that knowing where the horizon line is important. And again, the technique of putting your finger tip between your eyes where your nose bridge is, and then pushing it straight out in front of you. That's a rule of how to see where the horizon line is. Again, that's your eye level. And if you're using a phone to take pictures, it's going to be the phone's eye level or camera level. Now in this one, I mostly just did the position and somewhat did the value scale. I didn't have enough time to continue, and later on I'm going to do the Goku one. So in general, this video is about how I did the placement with the printed image on my canvas or paper, I would say, and just seeing how I actually really draw in real time these shapes. Now, of course, I sped up the video with hyperlapse, so this way the video can be shorter. Otherwise, it would be like an hour or even longer. You can always time yourself with a 30-minute timer and see how long it takes you to complete each shape. Now, remember, anything on the horizon line level is usually going to be the width. Anything that goes straight up and down is how tall the object is, so that's vertical, and the depth is always going to point towards a dot on the horizon line, and that's an imaginary dot. The horizon line is also imaginary, but as a person, it is always your eye level, the horizon line, and you can find it with the finger technique that I was mentioning earlier. With the hexagon, you will notice in the top that I'm giving space so that you can see the top of the hexagon as if the horizon line was not as close. Really, the horizon line was right on that section, so I shouldn't have had a top. But in this case, I wanted to make it look more like a hexagon, so I gave it some more space. I moved up my horizon line in my imagination just so I could feel like it's more 3D. Anything above the horizon line is going to have like the V lines radiating up, and anything below is going to have the V line radiating down. So as you can see, the back of any object is going to be thinner, and then in the front is going to be bigger or wider. The world above, neutral, and below, okay? Here I'm making sure that I'm using the darkest B pencil that I have, and I'm putting pressure, and then I'm just smudging everything because it's a lighter value scale. So I'm using my H pencils a lot. Here I put my finger between my eyes, I pushed my hand forward, and I'm also making the horizon line. You can always tell that the horizon line is in front of you because the door of the building is usually going to be as big as the person in the distance.